Look, it's the king, LeBron James, and the Cavaliers setting up for the back half of a home-and-home with the Pistons tonight. The first half of a doubleheader on a players-only edition of TNT tonight at 8 Eastern Time. Hi, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Game Time, keeping you company between now and the 8 o'clock start on TNT. And during a crazy time in the NBA, I'm Matt Winder, David Griffin right there, Steve Smith right over there. We've got stuff going on all over the place. John Wall is out for the next 6 to 8 weeks to come. More on that in a bit. The Pistons will play again tonight. As for what else is happening around the league, Blake Griffin is now with the Pistons. They'll play their first game of the Blake Griffin era. He will not play as they take on the Cavaliers, but will dominate the conversation. The Wizards, as I mentioned, will be without John Wall for the next 6 to 8 weeks. He'll undergo arthroscopic knee surgery tomorrow. They'll update his condition with a more formal timeline afterward. LeBron and the Cavs will shoot for 3 in a row with their new starting lineup as they attempt to sweep that home-and-home with Detroit. And, of course, you'll see that tonight as the first half of the doubleheader on TNT. Later tonight, Steph Curry picks up on the tear he's been on when the Utah Jazz come to town. Steph's averaged better than 30 a game over his last 15 games going back to December. And welcome to the All-Star game, Andre Drummond. Commissioner Adam Silver selected Drummond to replace Wall on Team LeBron for All-Star Sunday. It is his second All-Star selection. Tonight, the Pistons play their first game as Blake Griffin's new team, a day after the deal that moved the 5-time All-Star to Motown. Grant Hill will be part of the broadcast tonight when you see the Cavaliers and Pistons, and Grant is with us, as you can see. Oh, with the turtleneck tonight as well.
I like it. I like it.
That is a look, Grant.
It's cold in the D.
You're pulling it off, making it happen. I mean, people have to be incredibly excited in Detroit about Blake Griffin's arrival. What are you hearing there?
Well, everybody in town is excited, and certainly Blake Griffin is a superstar, a player who is so dynamic. You know, we had a chance to talk to Stan Van Gundy before the game, and you know, he loves his versatility. He loves that Blake is a great facilitator, maybe an underrated passer. But, you know, in this day and age, and certainly in the Eastern Conference, you have to have stars, and either through free agency or through the draft. And Stan said, look, we haven't been able to draft better than 8 in recent years. But, you know, this right here is a difference maker in bringing Blake Griffin in, and he says there's still a lot of work to be done. Other players are going to have to step up, people like Luke Kennard, Reggie Bullock, who have played well as of late. And, of course, most importantly, Reggie Jackson has to get better. But, you know, this team has struggled, and particularly as of late, 8 in a row. They had to sort of do something, and there's a feeling of optimism here within this franchise and in the city of Detroit.
Absolutely. You mentioned Reggie Jackson. He has missed the last 15 games. They're 3-12 in those games, and you know, Griffin has been a very good playmaker when healthy for the Clippers throughout his career. They've had more playmaking responsibilities for the new All-Star Andre Drummond as well. But for Griffin coming into this offense, is that part of what Stan Van Gundy is expecting from him, especially while Jackson is out?
Well, you know, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think Blake, you know, obviously he can score. He's gotten better with his jump shot from the perimeter. Detroit is not a good team at getting to the free throw line, so his ability to attack the basket, get to the rim, into the paint, and of course get to the line will certainly help as well. But yes, there's been times where he's a great passer. Andre Drummond is an underrated passer as well, so he envisions using those guys and them playing off of each other very well. But he said he's got to adjust a little bit. You know, Stan Van Gundy, I think historically has played more of a 4-around-1 style of offense. But he said the type of guy and the type of player that Blake Griffin is, you adjust to him. You adjust to his talent. So he's excited about that challenge of trying to adapt and adjust and incorporate, Blake into the mix. He'd like to have a summer and an off season when a lot of trades occur in the off season, but he's got to accelerate things and do that now. And they feel like this gives them a chance, not just for this year in terms of getting into the postseason, but a nice young core, a front court to build around as you move forward.
Grant, Steve Smith, you know, you played in Detroit. I'm from that city. How was the fans, I would say, around the buzz about Blake Griffin? Because it's not an easy place to be accepted as a basketball player. What's your feel and what's the feel of the fans?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Steve. We're staying at the Renaissance Center, and I, had a chance to walk around there today, and a lot of people, well, in addition to thinking I'm you, Steve Smith, they talked about the excitement of a Blake Griffin and what he can mean for this franchise, what he can mean for this city. And there's some excitement. There's also just some curiosity in terms of how it's going to work. He's had injury problems. Can he stay healthy? It's a big contract. I did talk to Van Gundy. He actually liked the fact that has a 5-year deal. That means he's locked in, and you don't have to worry about an expiring contract or somebody leaving after this year or after next year. But for the most part, the people that I've seen have been really, really excited and curious to see how this is going to work. And thinks that this, gives them a chance to take a step as a franchise that has been sort of stuck the last couple of years, with some injuries and not fulfilling and meeting expectations.
Grant, I have a fashion question for you. You're looking dapper, but over your left shoulder, Derek Fisher is wearing some interesting trousers. If you get a chance to look, can you tell me what your partner is wearing? Derek Fisher, he's kind of right over your left shoulder. It's interesting.
Yeah, Derek is definitely a little bit more fashion forward than me. And Derek, he's an LA guy, so they got a different vibe and a different flavor. I like the earth tones and keep it simple. Definitely Midwest. That right there, that's LA.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Only D-Fish can pull that off, man.
He's got suede boots going on there?
Yeah, I was just telling
like a
Fish.
pink pocket
boots.
square.
They're talking about you.
Is that a mock turtleneck? What does he have? What is that?
He's got the mock. I guess,
Is that in honor of Stan Van Gundy?
He and Charles are bringing it back.
I thought that was an homage to Stan Van Gundy. He was hanging on to that look for a long time.
Well, you know what? That might be because, we have the players only tonight, but, there's also coaches only. So maybe, as a former coach, he's definitely paying his respects to Stan Van Gundy.
You know what? I smell a new branding opportunity, turtleneck only, on TNT, coming sometime soon. All right, Grant, appreciate the time as always, and have fun tonight with Brent Barry, D-Fish, and, of course, 3D as you just saw.
Hey, Matt, thank you. It's so cold in the D.
Oh, it's climate controlled in the new building, I hope.
Gee, don't be getting soft on me. You played there.
All right, guys, from the Pistons' point of view, what's Blake Griffin's impact on this team, a team that has lost 8 in a row when he's out on the floor?
Well, I think obviously from the Pistons' point of view, they're looking at it from a star power situation. And Grant standing there in a building that's been becoming relevant relative to your fan base. This is a meaningful deal. And obviously Stan Van Gundy's somebody who needs to win. He needs to actually secure his future place in the organization. So this is the kind of decision you make when you're in that circumstance, and certainly it checked the 2 most important boxes for them.
And I totally agree, David. And, man, I looked at it kind of the same way. And from my point of standpoint, I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. It just looked like this ship was sinking. And obviously with no Reggie Jackson, it wasn't helping. But from a star point, being from that city, when you see that brand-new arena empty, and this is a basketball city that loves basketball, but they haven't put out a product that the fans are enjoy watching. And this is a city that will support you. The Detroit Lions haven't won a lot of games, and they've been coming down there. Yeah. So I think from a star point, they needed this. I think Stan needed this. And obviously this will be a year that you get the excitement. But I think next year they have to have a better performance coming out, being able to somewhat of a playoff team.
As a Detroiter, what would you say to Blake Griffin about coming into his new NBA city?
Well, I think, if you look at what this team and that city has been built on, the teams that won championship, you got to come in and play extremely hard. You can't fake playing hard. So you got to come on there, defend, rebound, and the fans want to see that because that's what they're used to. Bad Boys won a championship. That Rasheed, Ben Wallace, Richard Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince. It was about getting after it, playing hard. So that's what they didn't want to see first.
We'll hear from Stan Van Gundy along the way, but we've got much more to get to here on this